Hello everybody, my name is Chef Rob. Today we're going to make an Asiago prosciutto linguine frittata. It is very rich. It's perfect for a brunch. Really good through the holidays, through the winter. And this will serve for 6 people. You're going to make a dozen linguine frittatas. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to boil the linguine and put it in some salted water. Okay, and you want to cook it for about 8 to 10 minutes where it's still firm to the bite. So let's just put in a ½ pound of it. So have your pasta water boiling with the salt in it. Put the linguine down in it and just stir it occasionally. Just make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. Sometimes we always have that pasta water that always spills over. So always put a little wooden spoon right over the top of it, and most of the time that will prevent it from going over. I have had it go over, but hardly ever, so it really will help it, okay? And just occasionally stir this. Again, this is going to be cooked firm to the bite. It'll be about 8 to 10 minutes in rapid boiling water. So while the linguine is cooking, let's start putting in our dairy into a blender. So have a blender all ready to go. And you do need 7 eggs for this. So this is going to be a frittata, so you need a lot of eggs. Always make sure you keep the eggs nice and cold just until you are ready to use them, because you don't want them to spoil on you. You're going to turn on your oven to 375 while the pasta is cooking and you start making this mixture, because when the pasta is done and this mixture is all completed, we're going to combine it, we're going to put it right in a muffin tin, and we're going to send it in a 375 oven. And they're going to cook for about 30 to 35 minutes, just until they're cooked through. Okay, so we're going to take a 1/4 cup of heavy cream. And it is really important to use the heavy cream and the whole milk for this, for it to really come out really good, for its richness. We're going to use a ½ cup of the whole milk. Put that right into the blender. And we're going to use some mascarpone, which is an Italian cream cheese. Okay, you can buy it in a container just like this. A lot of times in the supermarkets they're about 8 ounces a container, so that would be perfect. This one is 16 ounce, so I'm not going to need it all, but I'm going to need to put a ½ cup in here. And we're going to blend this all up together, and we're just going to leave it right in the blender. Mascarpone, Italian cream cheese, and really needs to be used within a couple days, because it really will turn on you very quickly, because the soft cheese will turn. So we're just going to drop that right in there. Have everything out. And now let's just turn the blender on. We're just going to get it to where it is combined. Okay, perfect. So we're going to leave that right there. Cover this up. We're going to start cutting our produce, our cheese, our prosciutto. Okay, so I'm going to use the prosciutto first. And we're going to use about 6 ounces. Okay, so they do sell small packages that are about the 6 to 8 ounces. And if you do like the prosciutto, and if you want to use the whole package for 8 ounces, it will be fine. So prosciutto is a very salty meat, so just be very cautious you don't put too much salt in here. And just don't forget to keep after the linguine as it is cooking. You don't want it to stick to the bottom of the pot. So this is about 6 slices altogether. Prosciutto can be very expensive. If you use the imported, it is very expensive. If you use the domestic, it is not as expensive. You can go to the deli too and just ask for 6 ounces. Okay, we're just going to chop this up small. Let's go like this. And then we're going to grate some Asiago cheese. We want about a half a cup of Asiago cheese. And we're just going to let everything right here on my work surface, and it's all going to get combined with the linguine. After they come out of the oven, let them sit for about 3-4 minutes. They kind of just settle together, and then they'll pop right out of the muffin tin. Okay, let's grate some Asiago cheese. It's better if you can get the block of Asiago cheese. Again, about a half cup. And it's better because it just has a fresher taste, a little sharper. If you wanted to change this with a Parmesan cheese, you could always use a Parmesan cheese. Parmesan Reggiano cheese would be good as well. So just about the half cup. That should be fine right there. And again, we're just going to leave everything right to the side. I'm going to get a quarter cup of fresh parsley. And we're just going to chop this up really well. And we also need some mozzarella cheese. So I need about 1 cup of mozzarella cheese, and that's about 5 ounces. And we're just going to dice it. Right now I have the mozzarella cheese in the freezer because I put it in about 20 minutes ago, because if it has a little bit of a solidness to it, it's going to be easier to grate, okay? Because it can be very, very soft. So we're just going to take this mozzarella cheese that is cold. It still could be even a little colder, but it's going to grate nicely. And I want about 1 cup of this. Again, just to go over this, you want to have your oven turn on at 375. You're going to bake these for about 30 to 35 minutes in a medium muffin tin. You want to spray it. Make sure they're cooked all the way through, so it's hot all the way through. The eggs are cooked. Okay, gets really through to the pasta. You're going to let them settle, and then we're going to put them on a serving platter, and they will be really delicious. I really recommend you serve something light with this because this can be a little bit on the heavier side. And if you wanted to add like some chopped up asparagus to this or broccoli, that would work well in this as well. So you would want to cook the asparagus or the broccoli ahead of time and then just kind of drop it in the muffin tin with it. Just make sure you have all the water out because you don't want to have any excess water in there. We're just going to grate just a little bit of fresh ground nutmeg. Okay, so this is very strong. So we're just going to grate about 1/8 of a teaspoon of it. But the fresh nutmeg is really, really good. And then we're going to mince up about 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. I'm using 3 because these are a little bit on the smaller side. The linguine is just about ready. So we're just going to take the garlic, smash it down, and then just kind of give it a nice, real small chop. Always use the fresh garlic. Try not to use garlic powder for this one. Get really good garlic. You should smell the garlic. It should have a really strong flavor to it. Try to buy the garlic that is from the United States. Some of the other garlics, the flavor is just really not there. Okay. Perfect. So we have everything right here on the cutting board. We'll finish it off with some salt and pepper. So our linguine is all done. So I have it in this colander right here. I'm going to put it right in the bowl. And I'm just going to take some kitchen shears and just cut it up into small pieces. That way it is easier to eat. And just kind of go all around the bowl. Get it like that. And now we're going to pour our egg mixture right on top of this. This is about 1/2 pound of pasta. If you want to double this recipe, you can double it. They do freeze pretty well. So while you are making this, and you want to make many of these, you can feel free to use that whole bag of pasta, but just double everything. So that would be 14 eggs. Okay, just remember that. Okay, so I am going to put this mixture in here. And now we're just going to add in the mozzarella cheese, the nutmeg, the Asiago, the prosciutto, the parsley. Put everything right in here. And it will seem loose, but the eggs will cook and become a nice frittata. We're going to put in some freshly ground black pepper too, so about 3/4 of a teaspoon. So we're going to really hit this a couple times. And then about 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. And we're just going to stir this. So let's just get this stirred really good. And you're going to put in about 1/3 cup into each muffin tin, so it'll be pretty close to the top. Okay, just make sure all the ingredients are really measured well, mixed well. Okay, and then you can take a spoon and just kind of drop it into each one. You want to take a little spray, quick spray just like this. Now what you can do is you can actually take 1/3 cup, just like that, and dump it right into each one. And do this with all 12. If you're using a little bit smaller of a muffin tin, you're going to get extra, but if you're using real large ones, you may get a few less. And these are going to come out really, really good. But always kind of give it a stir after each one too, because things do settle. Our Asiago prosciutto linguine frittatas are ready. We got about 12 of them. Really nothing left in the bowl as you see here. Okay, but again, if your muffin tin is a little different, expect to have a few more or a few less. Okay, so we're going to cook these for 30 to 35 minutes, but make sure it is done inside. You can always put a little knife inside, and no water should leak out. It should be fully cooked. So we will check these in just a little bit. So our Asiago prosciutto linguine frittatas are done. They have sat for about 4 minutes now, so you can see that they've settled. It fills up the whole muffin tin, but it does not go over. Okay, since you sprayed it, they're just going to pop out really nice and easy to put on a tray just like this. And you can always garnish this with a little bit of fresh parsley. Serve some fresh fruits with this. You have a perfect brunch. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope you will make these with your family and friends. And please go to my Facebook page, Simply Creative Chef Rob, to watch all different new live videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.